Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about oil changes. I'm Richard, this is my channel, and this channel is about things I do in my life, and articulating them sometimes helps. I often talk about things that I do it for a week, decide it's not worth it, or just forget about it, but this is something that would have saved me a lot of pain. This is an oil change box. Why do I have an oil change box? Because when I go to the mechanic, I provide my own oil and my own filter, because I care about what goes into my vehicle. This is Castrol high mileage motor oil, and it comes in this kind of a box. You get 6 quarts. I believe you only need 4.5 quarts to change your car, but I mean, here's the box, okay? I've had this car for more than 10 years. I buy this stuff online. I buy it by the box. You can buy it by the individual, but I buy it by the box. And I can, in fact, even tell you that, like, here's a bottle, here's an older bottle. This is the same stuff, but one bottle is a little older than the other, okay? So, because it doesn't take a full quart, it's an odd number. It's not a number of quarts for the oil change. This stuff, you get an open one when you're done. You get that one back. So this is a half quart, and as half quarts go, I have written open on it, so I know it's open. So what I do here, I have this is the oil filter for my car. You see it's a K&N, high-end oil filter. Alright. 5 quarts back in the box there. Oil filter. Let's set that so it doesn't rattle around. I'm going to put it on its side. Fits perfectly in there. The open one goes on top. Okay, now I have an oil box. It is everything I am going to take to my mechanic to get my oil changed. And, if I had done this earlier, would have saved myself some pain. Because one day I was like, I'm going to go to the mechanic. What did I do with my filter? I should really change the oil because of the age of my car. I should not be letting it go over. I should be changing the oil. It's the day it hits 5% is the day I should get it changed. But I do enough driving so that, I believe it hit 15%. My car has an indicator. It said 50% oil life at the beginning of the month. Last week of the month, it's past. It's like 70 miles past. So that's a terrible thing. And beyond that point, the oil starts getting dirty. Okay, and I think the worst I've ever gotten is 300 miles past the amount I'm supposed to get it changed at. But the fact is, if I had had one of these boxes, I would have saved myself a lot of pain, because I bought the oil filter, I lost the oil filter, I bought another one. Alright, so silly me. But I don't know how many quarts of this oil I have sitting around my house. They're all in the garage, of course, I think. There might be a few, but when I purchased this box, it was for my last oil change. When I cleaned out my car, I found, I think, 3 quarts in there. I can hear my phone going off. Apologies for the interruption. But anyway, so I don't know how many half quarts I have. And, I should have 2 of these boxes. One of them should always be stacked and ready. The other one should be holding whatever extra I have, you know. The day I go to get my oil changed is the day I should order the filter for the next oil change, unless I finally decided it's time to sell the car. At which point, you know, you may even take this box and put it, be like, hey, by the way, this is the oil I use, these are the filters I use, I'm selling this car, I'm not going to need this filter anymore, here it is for you. And the person will be like, oh, an added bonus. People are stupid. And, you know, you could buy a $200 vacuum cleaner and they give you a free $20 toaster, and people will think they got such a great deal because of the free toaster. So, you know, that's a thing. But yeah, you know, I shouldn't have quarts of oil that have been sitting around my house for years and years and years. And I do. I mean, you know, I can just tell, like, this has got dust on it, the other 6 don't. So, you know, again, this is the one that was used in my last oil change, the half of one. And it doesn't look the same. Anyway, so yeah, this is just one of those things. One of the mottos that I have tried to apply to my life and failed is keep it tight, right? Having this box ready to go when I need an oil change is one way of keeping it tight. And again, if I had had this a month ago, all ready to go, it would have saved me a lot of pain. I would know that I have an oil filter. I would have just put it in my car one morning, driven to the mechanic, gotten it done. And I mean, it's like, yes, now today I am going to drive to the mechanic. 70 some odd miles over the life of my oil, burning up my old engine, and my car is very old, so that's not a good thing. Now, my car's never broken down, except for having a dead battery, but it's gotten to the point where I need to watch these things. You know, even if I went out there, one of the questions I have for my life is, if I went out there and bought myself a new car, like where I work, parking is terrible, and the parking stalls are too small. So my car's going to get all tore up. You buy a new car, you're like, oh my God, my car's going to get all tore up. So you don't want to drive your nice car to that job. You want to drive an old clunker. So if I went out there and got another car, I might get, this is the nice car that I drive when I'm doing nice things like going to the movies or going to the Phantom of the Opera or whatever have you. And then I have my old clunky commuter car, and it's like, yeah, you know, if my old clunky commuter car breaks down and it needs to be in the mechanic for a couple of days, then I can leave it at the mechanic, call an Uber, and be like, all right, we're done. That's a great thing to have. It's a little expensive on the insurance, but that's not an issue right now. So, yeah. I would recommend every person that has a car they want to keep have one of these. I would recommend every person use high-end oil filters like K&N, because they do make, I mean, I know they make a difference. I've been using them for more than 20 years, and I've had old cars that were dying, and I've gone between a Fram and a K&N, and the K&N gave me better performance, okay? So I know these things. I've tested these things personally. I know the K&N is a better filter, so I always have the K&N. If you tell a mechanic, I want you to use a K&N, they're probably going to say, he'll never know the difference, and use the cheaper filter and bill you for the K&N. So this way, I know what oil's going in my car, I know what filter's going in my car, and having this box means that I am always prepared when it is time to get an oil change. So, thank you for sharing this moment with me. I'm Richard.
Danger, Ducky says, it is now time
for you to comment, like, and subscribe, and support this channel so we can do things like save the world by removing trash from the ocean, planting trees, and feeding orphans. Danger Ducky approves.